guys, it's Queenie. Welcome to my channel.
Hey everybody! So if you're feeling kind of chilly, make sure you visit the country, Chile! Hey everyone! I'm your host, Queenie, and welcome to Chile! The country where people really know how to shake things up. But first, let's dissect the flag.
The flag of Chile, otherwise known as the Estrella Solitaria or the Lone Star, is made up of two unequal bands of white and red with a blue square in the upper left hoist side with a single 5-point star in the middle of it. The star commonly represents the guidance towards progress and honor. The blue box represents the sky and the ocean. The white band represents the snow-covered Andes Mountains, and the red stands for the blood of those who fought for the country.
And that's about it. Just make sure you don't confuse this flag with the flag of Texas and you're good to go.
The capital is Santiago, located roughly in the upper central area of the country. It's a bustling city with a history that goes back into the 16th century, blending a mix of neoclassical architecture alongside glass skyscrapers and high-rises.
Now let's talk about their climate. Chile is truly a year-round destination and each season brings something spectacular to the region.
In summer, the temperatures are very warm in the country, and many locals leave for coastal holidays, reducing crowds for visitors. You can explore the diverse and charming neighborhoods, each with their own flavor. In autumn, the weather is a little cooler. Autumn is a lovely season to explore the cities and milder temperatures that start to cool towards winter. Winter is very mild in the Central Valley. Cold weather won't stop you from getting out, but there will be more rain at this time of the year. Spring is another popular time to visit. Warm sunny days, superb flowers and foliage to the wine regions, and perfect weather to explore Chile's top tourist destinations.
The country has just over 18 million people.
About 40% of whom live in the capital Santiago alone. Ethnicity-wise, estimates speculate that a little over 50% of the country is white, about 40% are mixed mestizo, and the rest are Amerindian.
Of course, Spanish is their official language. However, the dialect is quite different from the rest of Latin American countries. Chileans tend to speak faster and sometimes they cut off their S's and T's from words, and also they have a whole list of specific Chilean vernacular that you can find anywhere else. For example, instead of saying cosa, you might hear huella. Instead of hearing fiesta, you might hear the word carete. And depending on the context, the word hueyon could either means buddy or something along the lines of stupid little punk. ¿Cómo estás hueyon? Or what's up buddy? Versus ¿eres hueyon no qué? Or what are you, some kind of idiot? Some say that if you learn Chilean Spanish, you'll be able to easily learn any variation of Spanish. Now let's move on to history.
Long years ago, in 13,000 to 10,000 BC, a group of mastodon hunters settled on the area now known as Monteverde. In 1450, the Incas, led by Tupac Yupanqui, made their way down from Peru and conquered northern Chile, but failed to subdue the Mapuches in the south. In 1520, the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan becomes the first European to glimpse Chile as he sails through the straits that are later named after him. In 1541, Pedro de Valdivia set off to conquer Chile and found Santiago. In 1553, Valdivia is killed by the native Mapuches, led by Lautaro, near Concepcion. In 1813, Spain invades Chile. In 1818, Chilean independence is declared. And in the year 1823, slavery is abolished. In 1949, women win the right to vote. In the year 1973, the Allende government is overthrown in a violent military coup, ending in the suicide of Allende in Santiago's Moneda Palace, which brings General Augusto Pinochet to power. Thousands are tortured and murdered during his regime. In the year 1990, prosperity increases rapidly, although income distribution remains extremely unequal. In the year 2010, a severe earthquake followed by a tsunami causes great damage in the Central Valley, particularly to coastal towns and villages. In October, 33 miners trapped for over 2 months in the collapsed San Jose gold and copper mine in northern Chile, but they are successfully rescued. And in 2019 up to now, civil protests are taking place throughout Chile in response to a race in the Santiago's metro subway fare. The increased cost of living, privatization, and inequality prevalent in the country.
And now let's see what makes Chile such an amazing country to visit.
Number 1 on the list is the Torres del Paine Park. With a strong wind gust and an indigo painted sky, Torres del Paine Park welcomes and invites us to discover the reason why it is recognized as one of the most beautiful places on the planet. The granite peaks of Torres del Paine loom over Chile, windswept tundra like towering castles in the sky. This dramatic national park is brimming with lakes in many shades of blue and green, some with distinctive white banks and others that spill out into gorgeous waterfalls such as Salto Grande. Rapa Nui, which is the name given to Easter Island by its first inhabitants, is the territory of Chile, and it's so far away that you can easily consider it as one of the most distant places on the world's map. It is 2,300 miles away from Chile, and the only transport that you can take you there is a plane. If you want to get to this destination point, you will need to spend 5 hours on board flying from Santiago, Chile to Easter Island. This tiny territory is a home of 887 huge stone statues. The statues carry the name Moai. They started to be carved at some point between the 13th and 15th century. Rapa Nui statues have different characteristics to keep the appearance of the person it represented. They believed that he or she who had passed away would forever watch over the tribe and bring fortune in life. Also, they have white beaches there where you can enjoy the best snorkeling and diving in the world. Number 3 on the list is the Los Pingüinos Natural Monument in Magdalena Island. Pingüinos is a Spanish word for penguins. The monument is home to one of Chile's largest penguin colonies, consisting of some 60,000 breeding pairs of Magellanic penguins. This place is accessible only by guided boat tours. The island is also home for large colonies of whales, sea lions, and dolphins. Next is the Humberstone and Santa Laura Saltpeter Works. Walking into this Chilean ghost town is something like walking into a Western movie set. This place is the Humberstone and Santa Laura Saltpeter Works. Abandoned since about 1960, this rather haunting place was once a bustling mining operation. From its creation in 1872 until 1958, these company towns marked what was, at one time, the largest saltpeter works in the world. Saltpeter was used for fertilizers, food preservatives, and in explosives, making it a highly valuable commodity and an important locale. The saltpeter works remain a valuable place of history. Last but not the least, San Alfonso del Mar. Placed in the touristic destination in Chile, this colossal attraction is located in San Alfonso del Mar Resorts, at the shore of the Pacific Ocean. You're probably wondering how big it can be, and we'll just tell you that it has an area of 871,200 feet, enough to amaze anyone. It's really versatile because it's not only used for swimming but to practice scuba diving and windsurfing. Like its size, its cost was exorbitant because $3.5 million were invested in its construction. Well, San Alfonso del Mar Resort is the largest swimming pool in the world.
So now we're going to be trying Chilean food. I don't know a whole lot about Chileans' native food, but together, let's find out.
First dish on the list is the pastel de choclo. It is a beef and corn casserole that is a very traditional and popular dish in Chile. Lots of different flavors like beef and onions, raisins, olives, and roasted chicken go into the body of the casserole, and the whole thing is topped off with a thick layer of creamed chocolate corn. The corn pudding layer caramelized in the oven, and the result is a delicious salty-sweet combination that's reminiscent of shepherd's pie. Second is the popular Chilean beef empanada or the empanadas de pino. The most common Chilean empanada is prepared with dough made of wheat flour and filled mainly with ground beef and onion, a mix that is called pino. In addition to hard-boiled egg, olives, and raisins, the contents are wrapped in the dough, forming a semicircle, and baked in the oven. This dish can be prepared and eaten at any time of the year, though the peak moment is during the Fiestas Patrias holidays in September, when they are served and enjoyed in the fondas or traditional food and drink establishments set up, especially to celebrate the country's independence. During Easter week, religious tradition advises not to eat beef, so empanadas are filled with seafood or cheese and can also be fried in oil. Last but not the least is the curanto, a traditional Chilean seafood baked, cooked in an earth oven, puree and then those giant barnacles and mussels, about 200 pounds of shellfish so far, then the potatoes, then the sausages, oh, and the chicken. The curanto is a modern version of a feast dating back 6,000 years to early indigenous communities. There's no rules about this dish. This is basically you put all the ingredients that you can find you have around you. The curanto has a particular round shape, and when you uncover it, the people will sit and eat from the same curanto.
And now let's talk about some famous influencers who contributed most of the country, Chile! The first one is Pablo Neruda.
He published his first collection of poems at age 19. He went on to win the Nobel Prize in Literature and also rescued 2,000 refugees, spent 3 years in political exile, and win for president in Chile. A romantic and a revolutionary, Neruda was one of the most celebrated poets of the 20th century. Today, Neruda's lines are recited at protests and marches worldwide. Much like his life, Neruda's poems bridge romance and revolution by emphasizing the everyday moments worth fighting for.
Next is Michelle Bachelet. She is the first woman president of Chile, serving from 2004 to 2008 and 2014 to 2016. She defined an era of political empowerment for women. Bachelet is a human rights advocate and former politician, and she was appointed as the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights in August 2018. She is also a torture survivor who fled to Australia during Augusto Pinochet's military coup in Chile. Bachelet sees herself as the voice for the voiceless. Another famous influencer is the billionaire Sebastián Piñera. Sebastián Piñera was elected President of Chile in December 2017. He made a fortune from Credit and Company Bank Card, which he founded in 1976. He divested many assets over the years. After the 2010 election, he unloaded his 26% stake in Chilean airline Ordalan for $1.5 billion. He also sold TV channel The Chilevisión to Time Warner for a reported $150 billion and sold his share of popular soccer team Blanco and Negro. Now let's move on to their Chilean festivals. The Tapati Festival is the most important cultural and sporting event that is celebrated on Easter Island every year during the first half of February. The ultimate reason for the celebration is the election of the Queen of the Tapati. 2 candidates for the title are presented and will be supported by their families, friends, and visitors. Participants in the Tapati Festival gets involved with pride and enthusiasm, and many invest their time, money, and energy preparing and rehearsing throughout the year. Body painting competitions, sport fishing, handicraft, agricultural and gastronomic competitions, stone and wood carving, making of traditional costumes, crowns and necklaces, agricultural exhibitions, artistic and musical performances, final parade and caravan of float, and the most awaited part is the coronation of the King and Queen of the Tapati. Next festival is the Curico Grape Harvest Festival. This event that revolves around wine, the oldest of its kind in Chile, and is celebrated in the city of Curico. During the 4 days of festivities, tourists can enjoy tastings of the valley's finest must, handicraft exhibits, Creole cuisine, culture and entertainment for the entire family. Tourists are also able to enjoy the classic grape stomping contest, the election of the grape harvest queen, and participate in activities pertaining to the wine route of the Curico valleys. In the middle of the grape harvest season, Chile's Central Valley commemorates its wines with joy and outdoor activities. Now let's proceed to their traditional dress. Traditional clothing of Chile is very festive and convenient at the same time. It is usually made of natural materials. Chilean national clothing is bright and embellished with embroidery and colorful ribbons. For Chilean men, they call their traditional decorative garment chamanto, similar to a poncho and woven in silk thread and wool. Its entire contour is finished with ribbon edging. Traditionally, Chilean festive ponchos incorporate colors such as gray, brown, red, black, and white. And the most important traditional clothing for Chilean women is the vestido de wasa or the wasa dress, which is usually worn for cueca dancing. It is characterized by a tight, cinch-in waist and a wide full skirt which falls just below the knees. And now let's move on to business etiquettes. Business in Chile is formal, conservative, and heavily based around personal relationships and networks.
Having business cards ready to hand out when you meet someone. Don't expect any business decisions to be made right away. Chilean business culture is conservative and you will have to spend time building relationships and trust. Always be diplomatic and avoid openly or publicly criticizing someone. It is common to interrupt people while they are speaking. This is not seen as rude in Chilean business. Arrive on time for business meetings, but expect them to last longer than scheduled. Business attire is formal and conservative. Avoid wearing business casual attire, bright colors, or excessive jewelry.
Moving on to their dining etiquettes.
If you are going to someone's home, send flowers beforehand. Avoid sending yellow, black, or purple flowers though. Guests are expected to arrive a few minutes late. Showing up at exactly the announced time may catch your host unprepared. Wait until you are shown to your place before you sit. Women should sit before men. Keep your hands above the table while eating. Resting your hands on your lap or out of sight is seen as deceptive or suspicious. Don't pour wine with your left hand. Never eat with your hands.
Now let's move on to their superstitious belief.
For Chileans, yellow is the color of luck. They wear yellow underwear on New Year's Eve, exam days, and other important events where luck is needed. So make sure you pack a pair of yellow undies before you trip to Chile. Rather than worrying about what could possibly go wrong on Friday the 13th, for Chileans, the day of mala suerte or bad luck to watch out for is Tuesday the 13th. Travelers in Chile, beware. Don't pass the salt from your hand directly to your fellow diner's hand, as this is thought to lead to a falling out with that person. If you do drop your wallet or purse on the floor, make sure you pick it up back quickly, as if it's there for longer than a second, it's a sign that you'll lose money soon. If your left hand itches you, try not to scratch it. Apparently, it's a good omen which indicates that you will soon come into money.
Now let's talk about their traditional dances. Number 1 is La Cueca dance. La Cueca is all about romantic conquest. Funny enough, the way La Cueca is danced resembles the mating ritual of a hen and a rooster. The use of the handkerchief is a key element of the Cueca dance, as partners will raise it above their heads or behind their backs as they stomp their feet and circle one another. Throughout the dance, it's important that Cueca dancers maintain strong eye contact throughout the different steps and movements. It is danced especially during the national independence celebrations.
Next traditional dance is the Sao-Sao dance and Tamure dance is a ritual worship dance rendered to the divinity and a healing ceremony as well. These dances are dedicated to their gods, to their loved ones, and to nature. The Sao-Sao is characterized by the sensuousness of the dancers' waist and hip movements, the undulations of their arms and hands, and the garlands of flowers blowing in the breeze worn by men and women. While the Tamure dance, it is a fertility dance performed by couples with rapid pelvic and leg movements. Up next is the trivia. Did you know that Chile is a world-class wine destination and the 9th largest producer of wine? The oldest mummy in the world is from Chile. Chile is home to 5 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Also, 16,000 fireworks were exploded in the Chilean city of Valparaiso in 2007. This remains a Guinness World Record. Lastly, Chile supports UFO research.
Thank you for watching!